Okay, holy cow. Hey, hi, hello. This video is probably not gonna be edited and not gonna come out in in time. Uh, what's it called? Like on the regular upload schedule. But I just accidentally beat 5020. Now let me explain myself, because accidentally beating 5020 sounds like a crazy feat. But what I was doing is, as you guys may have known if you've been tuning into my streams, I've been working at getting better at 5020, or UCN in general. And I got up to the point where I could handle all 50 at once, and I was just practicing, what's it called? Uh, I was just practicing getting through like the first minute or two of the game, like the setup part. If you guys know anything about 5020, you'll know it's like a very chaotic battle at the start, and then it just kind of chills out afterwards, with the exception of dealing with Foxy, which is always fun. But yeah, I was gonna cut it off at the 2 minute mark, and I just forgot to hold escape. So I just ended up going all the way through and winning. And this time, unlike when I beat 5020 on mobile, I was able to remember that I could press Control P to pause the application, as you guys can see on screen. Let me move my mouse. Hello. Uh, I could beat 5020, and I was able to beat 5020, and I was able to pause it so that I can play out the victory screen. It's not going to have audio because the audio keeps going after you pause it, but you can see the victory screen. Now, there was a modifier active, and I'll go through the modifiers page on UCN Enhanced to show it off. It just forces XOR to be there at 11 seconds. With that being said, I will be streaming eventually to get it without this modifier, which would just be resetting runs until basically I get the scenario that showed itself here. And yeah, but yeah, let me unpause. Yeah, you can see here, you hear the fireworks, the music kept going, fireworks did not. But yeah, playing out, perfect. You can see I did Deathcoin Foxy. I ran out of power, but I turned off the GMB cycle in like the last 7 seconds and turned on the power gen to stall out the power outage just long enough to make it to the end. 10,600. Now this is UCN enhanced, so Funtime Foxy doesn't actually get deactivated when you deathcoin him. But yeah. Oh. Modifiers save though. So yeah, XOR spawn at 11 seconds. Everything's normal here. Oh yeah, starting coins, which just basically makes it to where I can practice using this power up without having to use up one of the charges of this power up. Uh, as you can see, it starts with 3, and I just started myself with 3, just so that I could emulate starting with the 3 coins power up. Um, so yeah, I just basically mitigated RNG with the modifiers. I gave myself the 3 coins power up without having to use up the 3 coins power ups that I have saved, and I gave myself the 11-second Zord spawn, so I don't have to keep resetting for it. This is all like customization for this. So like that's where the red lines are and why you hear the sister location theme. Instead of my own. Oh, hold on. There. That's why you hear the sister location theme instead of the UCN theme. I can change it back. But yeah. Still says 5020 best time is 2 a.m. from when I tried to see how far I could get while dealing with everyone except Funtime Foxy. Uh, Playtime 20 hours. That's a lie. Oh, right, because this and UCN don't count playtime the same. Anyway, that's not the point. It's not gonna show me a high score because I did use modifiers to give myself the best XOR spawn and the 3 coins power up. I will probably be using this battery power up as well, since that 1 or 2% extra power could have just made me not have to worry about dying at 1 second away to a power outage. But yeah, FNAF 4 office. I've been working on maskless coin farming. I'm not quite there yet, so I do like a halfway. I'll turn on the characters that are relevant for this. Just so you guys can see what I've been doing. It's like a half and half kind of thing. Well, that's not it. This. And then deal with Toy Freddy. Boop, boop. Come down to avoid the Bonnie duo. Turn on the GMB cycle. Deal with everyone as they show up. I will make a full video on a actual, like, full, like, proof completion where I actually beat it while recording. I wasn't expecting to beat it, so I wasn't recording. So yeah, I'll do a full proof and just stream the whole thing eventually. Like, maybe this Saturday as of recording. Just so that you guys have the proof that I can actually beat it and I didn't just, like, I don't know, give myself God mode, even though I went straight into this and showed you guys all of my stuff. But yeah. Amazing achievement. I will be doing it again though, because that didn't feel that hard, which is a weird thing to say, right? Because it's 50-20, it's the challenge. But I've been grinding it every day, so like the hardest part, which is killing off Funtime Foxy while dealing with everyone else, just doesn't seem that bad anymore. Because I have screenshots. Well, I deleted all the screenshots. If not, I'll flash them up on here in editing. But of my progress throughout the days, and I started with basics like the cam flip crew, for like Mangle for the top vent, Freddy, you know, these guys for cam stalling, stuff like that, right? And the masks, like the coin farming part. So at first I practiced. I'm also just gonna quickly go over how I built up to this point, in case you guys who are watching wanna also try this at some point. But I built up by starting with the easy ones, right? So Bonnie, obviously on. Freddy was on. I left the GMB cycle off for a bit. Um, and I just turned on the coin farming and like the basic characters like the plushies, Freddy, Mangle, these three ducked animatronics, because in UCN Enhanced you can skip Mr. Hippo's dialogue, so he's not a threat to have while practicing. Helpy, again, the coin farming characters. And then I kind of worked my way towards it. I added Rockstar Freddy to that main group, and then I would just switch out between Foxy or the Global Music Box or Toy Freddy and just practice with those individually and get those different individual steps down, and then I would like combine them together like Music Box plus Foxy, uh, Toy Freddy and Foxy active, stuff like that, just to practice with each individual one that I started adding it. Uh, Another thing I did is to really help hammer home that I never am on cams during a Withered Bonnie and Rockstar Bonnie interval. I set Withered Bonnie to 100 because I can do that in UCN Enhanced. UCN Enhanced is free on GameJolt, by the way. I'll link it in the description if I remember. But yeah, basically he'll insta kill you if you ever are on cams during his interval, which really helps with just making sure that you get off the camera before that interval. So that was a really nice practice. You'll see him on 100 a lot during the screenshots. Um, I added some other characters. Once I got Toy Freddy and was able to get like 2 minutes in with Toy Freddy, I added these two because if you can deal with Toy Freddy and not die to Toy Freddy, you can have these two on for free. If you're nervous about them, you can always turn the heater on during a power gen cycle. Don't do it during the GMB cycle though, because that will anger the puppet. Obviously, Rockstar Freddy was on for most of these. The characters I was most nervous about were the Bonnie duo, which I eventually got over that nervousness because of just, again, I could put them on 100 to know if I'm gonna summon them or not every single time. Uh, these two and Ballora, because the directional thing and having to listen for them while doing all this really tight trying to do all that, but I eventually just I added these guys. I forgot to mention them with Foxy and Toy Freddy and the GMB cycle, but they're Ballora specifically is one of the ones I would switch between with that until I got used to her. Um, L Chip, Old Man Consequences, those were big problems for me. Um, Phantom Mangle and Phantom BB were also uh because of, but I was able to deal with that by just always switching systems every time I opened cams, and then they're just not really a big problem. They are still a problem. They got me quite a few times, especially Mangle. Um, Scrap Trap was another big issue, but then when I remembered that he rarely attacks during the opening minute of the game, like he can attack in the first like 30 seconds a minute of the game, but he doesn't a lot of the time, so it's not that hard. Scrap Baby had me nervous because I was trying to do maskless coin farming to start this off, which is not the way you should try to start off 50-20. I will be working on trying to do 50-20 with maskless coin farming now that I can beat it officially. But for the start, I would recommend not doing maskless coin farming. Very bad idea if you're starting off and trying to get your first 50-20 win. But once you beat it, if you want to keep trying, go for it. It's a cool flex. But Scrap Baby made me nervous and got added pretty late because I was trying to do maskless coin farming for a while and having to look at Nightmare BB, Helpy, and Scrap Baby and shut the door for these two, all within the span of a second so Golden Freddy doesn't kill you if he spawned, was not happening. So I just kind of gave up on maskless coin farming to add her. And the other character that caused me a lot of problems, surprisingly enough, is Rockstar Chica. Now, I don't know if there's a strategy for her that I'm missing, like you're supposed to um, move the wet floor sign right before you go to watch Plush Trap or something, but she was brutal in practice. She didn't harm me too much in today's practice session, but overall she was pretty brutal. So she was added later. But the last two that I had added, the last two characters that got added to the roster and they got added at the same time, Phantom Freddy and Nightmare Freddy, which sounds crazy because they're so easy, right? You just flash the light on them. But during the opening segment, they can sneak up on you because you're focused on everything else. You kind of tune the frettles out, trying to listen for Ballora or the laughing bears over here. Um, and Nightmare Freddy can sneak up on you easily. And Phantom Freddy, I can't tell you how many times I've died to Nightmare BB because I went to flash Phantom Freddy and forgot that Nightmare BB was sitting down and just opened the cams and it just pushed the light onto BB. But yeah, anyway, I'm gonna end this video now. I'm gonna get back to editing the Piggy video if it's out. If not, you guys know what the next video is. But yeah, I'm gonna get back to editing that. I was just practicing UCN between breaks, and I got that, and I wanted to share it with you guys and share kind of some of my tips and tricks for how I managed to get to this point. Um, UCN Enhanced is also really nice because of the modifiers that you could use for practice. Um, like some of the other things that I didn't really point out, you can change any of XOR's intervals. Like you can push them really far back so that you can practice them being very delayed, which doesn't happen enough for you to really need to practice it. But if you're, you know, you want to be prepared for any scenario, that might be a good thing. You can change Funtime Foxy's show times. That's something I would also do often. Is have Funtime Foxy always set to 1 a.m. so that he would kill me if I would have death coined him too late. That didn't really become a problem once I started incorporating XOR into practice, which you can actually, if I go to page 3, force XOR to spawn so that you can deal with her without 50-20 being active. So I got some practice with that a lot, actually. Towards the back half, I was adding XOR a lot to this. But, yeah. Um, so yeah, you can change this. Displays information about animatronic progression. It doesn't appear to be actually doing anything, so that might be broken. But yeah, there's also challenges here. I mean, you could start the game at any time you want. Um, you can have infinite time, where it's just an endless mode, basically. Infinite death coin, meaning you can buy it more than once. I practiced coin farming with that as well. Just turning on all the death coin characters and dealing with them as I death coined them one by one. Blind mode, if you want to try blind mode, you can. It's not really good for practice for 50-20, but it is something you can do there. Same thing with no HUD. Power drains quicker, temperature rises, ventilation goes out quickly, RNG is doubled against you, and the secret animatronics are heavily buffed. I never actually tried this, but yeah, if Nightmare Chica gets added to your game, she will permanently stay throughout the night. Yeah, some of these I never actually practiced with because they're not good for 50-20, but if you want that extra challenge, they're here for you. Couldn't recommend UCN enhanced enough. Always parrot friendly Rockstar Foxy, so Foxy will always spawn on the 1 minute intervals, and you can choose if he'll be able to kill you or not. You can turn off DD without the DD repel. You can turn off XOR if you want to just do 50-20 without XOR. Wouldn't really recommend that because I actually use the new challenger has appeared thing to gauge what time I should do certain things. Like when DD or when XOR first spawns in, that's when I know to get off the cameras quick. Stuff like that. You could force XOR, which is again how I'd practiced without having 50-20. Invincibility. I want to make a video with this, where it's like 50-100 mode, but I'm invincible, so you guys can see how crazy and stupid it looks, because it's insane. Starting temp. Now, one thing I would have to say, we can manipulate all that too. One thing I do have to say, it's starting power, starting coins, all that. Freddy. The way I deal with Freddy, the next 5 second interval after the icons start flashing, so like 05, 15, 25, 35, 45, 55, you know, those intervals, that's when I would shut the door for Freddy, because other than like Old Man Consequences, no one's really gonna spawn on those intervals. And it helps you not have to worry about El Chip and Freddy at the same time. And it just makes it really consistent with dealing with Freddy, so you don't even have to think about him. It's just like the GMB cycle, where if you practice it enough, you don't even have to think about it anymore. And when I go through some of these other challenges here, you might even see me shut the door for Freddy on that interval without him even being active, just because it's instinct at this point to do that. And then settings here, you can convert all this. Revert Vent AI. Animatronic Vent AI has been tweaked a little bit. It's literally just if they're above a certain AI, because this goes above 20 in this game, they'll insta kill you if you open the cameras. So this just fixes that. You can turn it back if you want to die immediately. But yeah, really, really fun. Uh, Absolutely will be trying to do more stuff with UCN. Will I reach the Bones 5 or Brayden level? Probably not. But do I want to push myself harder with this game? Hell yeah. It's a crap ton of fun. Uh, I've said this before, and I will say this again till the day I die. UCN is the best FNAF game, mechanically speaking. And I just love it so much. Um, it is my favorite game of all time from the FNAF series. I cannot recommend it enough. If you have a PC, it's free on Steam or GameJolt. You can also get UCN Enhanced. Again, I'll link it in the description. And UCN Enhanced is a good practice mod for if you want to get better at certain aspects of UCN without having to add other things just to make it work. This will just do it for you. So yeah. Oh, also, one more thing. This is how you set everyone, and then the randomizer will just randomly select everyone between these AI values. But yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna end this video. I just realized I've been talking for 20 minutes, and yeah, goodbye. But I did want to make this video to share with you because it was really fun, and I do want to do more. I've said that already. Goodbye. All right, so this is gonna be crazy to watch, but I was just practicing again, right? Not only did I survive 2 cam flips with Foxy's head on the desk. But I did it again right after that last round. And now I have some kind of proof. Because I just did it again. Again, I did use the modifiers to get DD, or not DD, XOR in. So it's not going to count towards my progression, because I'm just practicing. But still, twice is crazy. Another good thing about UCN Enhanced is it plays this song for you every single time you complete a night, which is a nice reward for if you change up the characters and it's harder with water score, you know? And you can hold escape to skip it if you really want to, but I never do. Alright, Foxy Deathcoin. I had 10% power this time. Look, this again, and I'll go through this. XOR spawn, you know, all of this. Same exact thing, just twice in a row. Crazy. Anyway, I am really done this time. Goodbye.